number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Today for unit number 5, that is the breach of contract and its remedies. Actually, in this chapter, Akshit, I will allow you at the last now. Please wait. So in this chapter, we have some, we should start from unit number 4 itself because it is continuation of some point from unit number 4. So before starting this unit number 5, I will go for the revision, fast revision for unit number 4. Then we will come to the unit number 5. Okay. We have discussed, इसको अभी हटा दीजिए. Performance of contract means carrying out the obligations, means performance means to complete the requirement as decided in the contract between the parties. So performance may be actual, may be tender performance. Actual performance may when parties actually performs, actually complete their obligations as per the contract. Tender performance means one party offers to perform his obligation, but other party is not ready or refuses to accept the performance. Promiser offers to perform his obligation under the contract at proper time and place, but the promisee refuses to accept the performance. In this place, there will be no liability for non-performance on the part of the promiser. This is called tender performance or attempted performance or actual performance or offer to perform. Tender or attempted performance. What are the conditions for a valid performance? It must be unconditional, means the performance should be according to the conditions decided in the contract itself. No any other condition arise at the time of performance. Performance should be at the proper time and place. If decided in the contract, it should be at that time and place. If not decided, it should be at reasonable time and place. And what is the reasonable time and place? Depend upon situation to situation. The other party should have reasonable opportunity to examine the goods, whether he has received the goods according to the quality or quantity decided in the contract. The performance should be whole obligation, part performance is not acceptable. To the or his duly authorized. However, a tender offer to perform may be made to any one of the joint promises. It means if in a case of joint promises, the promiser can offer the performance to any one of the joint promises. And tender must be of the exact amount. In case of, we are talking about in case of foreign currency, it means in which currency the contract is entered should be performed in that currency and must be legal tender. Legal tender means current currency जो चल रही है. By whom will perform, who will make the performance, who will give the performance? First, promiser himself. Where the personal skills are required, the performance should be done by the promiser himself. Mr. Vimas, we will allow the unmute option only at the last. So please wait till that time. Please note down your queries. In between the class, I will allow you everyone to open the chat box, right? So till that time, please wait and note down your queries in your notebooks. So performance can be done by the promiser himself. Where the personal skills are required, then performance can be done by the promiser himself. Where the personal skills are not required, the performance can be done by the agent. In case of death or any disablement, the legal representative can perform, but where personal skills are not required. Third person, if a third person performs and the other party accept the performance, then promiser cannot be claimed the performance. When a promisee accepts performance of the promise from a third person, he cannot afterwards enforce it against the promiser. Performance of joint promises, I told you in the previous class that in case of joint promises, rights are always joint, but liabilities may be joint and several. All the joint promisers are liable jointly and severally, however, contract may provide otherwise. One has right of contribution from others. If one of the joint promise release, he is responsible to other joint promiser or promisers. I'm giving you 1 minute to please read this slide carefully. Please read carefully. Time, place, and manner already discussed with you as decided in the contract, otherwise during business hour or at a business place or the residence of the promisee. Performance of reciprocal promises means a promise in return of promise. It may be mutual dependent. If the promiser who must perform fails to perform it, he cannot claim the performance of the reciprocal promise. Mutual and independent. Each party must perform his promise without waiting for the performance of or readiness to perform on the part of the other. Mutual and concurrent promises must have to be done simultaneously performed. Reciprocal promises to do things legal and also other things illegal. Then first part that is legal is valid and other part that is illegal is void. Appropriation of payment. For this point, we have discussed an example for some multiple debts. If any one person has multiple debts and payment is lump sum payment is made, then for which bill or which invoice the payment is to be adjusted is called appropriation of payment. Rule 1 says appropriation by the debtor means the debtor has while making the payment mentioned that the amount should be adjusted against such and such bill. So if the creditor is accepted that payment, the amount should be adjusted according to the debtor. If debtor says nothing but only send the payment, the creditor may adjust the payment against any bill, including time barred, but not for disputed debt. When neither party appropriates, then in that case, the payment should be adjusted according to the order of time, means according to the sequence, FIFO method. According to sequence FIFO method, including time bar debt. If debts are equal on a particular date, it should be applied but proportionately. Please read this slide once again. I'm giving you once again 1 minute for reading the slide. Discharge of contract means end of the contractual relationship between the parties. In other words, a contract is said to be discharged when either of the parties is no more liable to the contract. So discharge of contract may be by performance. It means the parties has performed according to the contract. It means they are discharged from the liability. Performance may be actual or tender. We have discussed. Tender is also called attempted. By mutual consent or agreement. By mutual consent or agreement. First is novation. Novation means new contract. This may be between the same parties, may be between the new parties. So in case of new contract, original contract need not to be performed. The parties are discharged from the liability to perform for original contract. Let's take an example. A and B entered into the contract by which A has to perform. A has to sell the car to B and B has to make the payment of 2 lakh rupees. On due date, before the due date, B says, sir, I can purchase not the red car, I can purchase the black car for 2 lakh rupees. A says, okay, I can sell the black car. So the new contract will arise, and according to this, old contract for sale of red car is not there. So A is not liable to deliver the red car. Recession means cancellation of contract. Alteration means change of some terms. One student has asked in the previous class, sir, what is the difference between novation and alteration? So novation means a major change may be there, but in alteration, very small changes are there. And one important thing, in case of novation, a new contract may be in the same parties or maybe the new parties. But in case of alteration, parties should be the same. Remission means discount. Waiver means 100% discount. Merger means when the inferior contract merge with the superior contract. एक सेकंड बेटा, अभी लेता हूँ कुछ चीजें हैं. Next, by impossibility of performance. Destruction of subject matter for which the contract was entered, death or disablement of personal services, subsequent illegality. Contract when entered was perfectly legal, but afterwards the law is changed and now the performance become illegal. So the parties will be discharged from the liability. Declare non-state of existence of things. By operation of law, that is compulsorily, by death of party, by insolvency of party, by merger, by unauthorized alteration of the terms of written document. By breach of contract, anticipatory breach, actual breach. We have discussed the anticipatory breach means the breach of contract before the due date. Actual breach during the performance or at the time of performance. By lapse of time, contract become time barred. Contract which need not to be performed if the parties mutually agree to substitute the original contract by new one or the resigned or alteration it. If the promise dispenses with or remits solely on part of the performance or promise made to or extend the time for such performance or accept any satisfaction for it. If the person at whose option the contract is voidable resigned it. If the promisee neglects or refuses to accept the performance. And last one, if it is illegal. Please read this slide giving 1 minute once again. Sir, only Indian Contract Act, only I am able to mug up the point. Please help me out. Beta, please clear, Pratik. What do you want to actually, what do you want to ask actually? सेल्फ असेसमेंट नहीं होगा बेटा, कोई जरूरत ही नहीं लग रही मुझे. ओके, प्लीज रीड. Now the time to start the unit number 5, breach of contract and its remedies. So in this unit, first we have to read the breach of contract, then we will come on the remedies available in case of breach of contract. Breach of contract, in the last class we have also discussed. Breach of contract means failure of a party to perform his or her obligation under the contract. It means the party which part of the contract has not performed according to the contract. The breach of contract may be in two ways: actual breach of contract and anticipatory breach of contract. Actual breach of contract and anticipatory breach of contract. Actual breach of contract means the breach of contract denying the performance at due date or during performance. Anticipatory breach of contract means denying to perform before the due date. Before the due date. Actual breach of contract may be committed at the time when the performance of contract is due. When the performance of contract is due. A agrees to deliver 100 bags of sugar to B on 1st February 2023. On the said day, he failed to supply 100 bags of sugar to B. This is actual breach of contract. The breach has been committed by A at the time when performance was due. Please read. When to perform? 1st February 2023. On that day, he denied to perform or he failed to perform. It is called actual breach of contract. It may be another way, actual breach of contract may be another way during the performance of contract. During the performance. During the performance means some quantity has been delivered and failed to deliver the rest quantity. Failed to deliver the rest quantity. Actual breach of contract also occurs when during the performance of contract, one party fails or refuses to perform his obligation under it by express or implied act. Suppose in the previous example, that is 100 bags to be delivered on 1st February, he supplied only 80 bags on 1st February and denied the delivery of rest 20 bags. So it is called during the performance of contract. Some part is performed, but the rest part is denied to perform. So actual breach may be at the time when the performance is due, or it may be during the performance of contract. Clear? Please note down. Please read. It may be at the time when the performance is due, or it may be during the performance of contract. Please read. Now the second way is anticipatory breach of contract. When a party repudiates it before the time fixed for performance. When a party repudiates it before the time fixed for performance. See, where a contract with B on 15 July 2024 to supply 10 bales. Bales means bundles of cotton for a specified sum on 14th August 2024 and on 30th July informs B that he will not be able to supply the said cotton for 14th August 2024. This is an express rejection of the contract. It means he has denied the performance 15 days before the due date of performance. This is called anticipatory breach of contract. What was the example? The contract was entered on 15 July, delivery to be made on 14th August, but before 15 days before that, on 30th July, informed that he will not going to deliver on the due date, that is 14th August. So because he has denied before the due date of performance, it is called anticipatory breach of contract. Now, what are the consequences of anticipatory breach of contract? The promisee may resign the contract and treat the contract as at end and once sue for the damages. It means he can decide the contract should be end on 30th July, which the date on which he has denied for making the delivery. The resign the contract, treat the contract then end and once sue for the damages, that is compensation. Or he may elect not to resign but to treat the contract operative and wait for the time of performance, that is 14th August, and then hold the party liable for the consequences for non-performance. Means in the example number two, we have the two options, either to file the suit on 30th July or decide to continue the contract, wait for 14th August, that is the actual due date, and file the suit on that date. So in this consequences of point number A, we are talking about 30th July, and on point number B, we are talking about 14th August. Please note down, and once I'm requesting everyone to please give 30 seconds to read this slide. Important point. Okay. This example we have already discussed in the previous class. I'm requesting everyone to please read this example once again. This will make the concept very much clear to you. Example 3. X agrees to sell to Y a certain quantity of wheat at rupees 100 per quintal to be delivered on the 3rd March. On 2nd February, X gives notice expressing his unwillingness to sell wheat, and the price of wheat on that date is rupees 110 per quintal. If Y repudiates the contract forthwith, which he is entitled to do at his option, he would be able to recover damages at rupees 10 per quintal. Instead of taking the action forthwith, he keeps the contract alive till the 3rd March, and in the meantime, the price increases to 125 per quintal on that date. Y would be able to recover damages at 25 per quintal. What was the example? Example is saying that the contract was to supply the wheat at 100 rupees per quintal on 3rd March. But before the due date, that is 2nd February, almost 1 month before, he denied for delivery. The price at that time was 110, and on the due date, the price was 125. In this case, Y has two options, either to decide the contract cancel at the time on 2nd February and file for the recovery of damages, that is rupees 10 per quintal, because the original contract price was 100, and at this time he has to purchase at rupees 110. So difference amount of 10 rupees he has to pay out of his pocket. So he can claim this amount from the X. But he has another option. He can wait for 3rd March, that is original due date, and at that time the price was 125. So he can claim the compensation at rupees 25 per quintal. But what about the price comes to the 108? If the price comes to 108 on 3rd March, he can claim only rupees 8. That is the additional payment has to be made. Suppose if the say private sale of wheat is prohibited by government after 2nd February, so now the performance become impossible, and in that case, Y cannot claim anything, and contract is void due to the impossibility of contract by subsequent illegality. Right? So at this place, I'm allowing you to send your queries on the chat box. Chat box को मैं able कर रहा हूँ. You can share your queries on this point up to what I have discussed with you. If you have any query, I'm giving you the 5 minutes to share your query only up to this point, up to the point we have discussed. सर चैट बॉक्स को अलाउ कर दीजिए बच्चों को. हो गया सर. ओके सर, we can only recover our damage happen for non-performance. Sir, you are talking about the remedies on the breach of contract. So after this slide, we will discuss on this point. Okay. Sir, how to mug up the point in Indian Contract Act as it very boring chapter? Actually, if you are thinking that Contract Act is boring chapter, you should not go for the CA, because in CA course you have to take your mind. They are not for your entertainment. ठीक है ना. ये आपके एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए नहीं है सीए कोर्स, आपके फ्यूचर के लिए है, आपके कैरियर के लिए है. तो आप इंटरेस्ट लेने के हिसाब से सोचेंगे तो पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है. ठीक है, दिमाग से चलना है, अपने एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए नहीं है. बोरिंग जब होता है जब आपका इंटरेस्ट नहीं होता है. कोई चीज बोरिंग जब होती है जब आप इंटरेस्टेड नहीं होते तो पढ़ने के लिए, जो मेरा मानना है अपना. ठीक है. तो ऐसा कोई कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है कि कोई चाय में घोल के पी जाएगा. लो, पढ़ना पड़ेगा. आपका मन नहीं लग रहा है तो आपको मन लगाना पड़ेगा अगर सीए कंप्लीट करनी है तो. अभी फाउंडेशन तो बहुत स्मॉल पार्ट है. फाउंडेशन वेरी स्मॉल पार्ट ऑफ द लॉ. अभी सी इंटर में जाएंगे, सी फाइनल में जाएंगे तो कैसे करेंगे. ठीक है. एनी अदर क्वेरी. Sir, this is depend on the taste. In my view, the most easiest act is Contract Act. सर, अमीशा इज आस्किंग सर, एक्स ने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कैंसिल कर दिया तो वाई केस क्यों करेगा. भैया वाई क्यों नहीं केस करेगा. वाई को अब जो आपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया और आप डिलीवरी नहीं देंगे तो वाई किससे क्लेम करेगा. नुकसान नहीं हो जाएगा वाई का. एनी अदर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, एनी अदर क्वेरी. So we should start for remedies. Sir, what happen? Please tell me what happen if the price are less than rupees 110 in future. I told you, if on 3rd March price reduces to 108, 108, then in that case, Y can claim only 8 rupees, the difference between the contract price and the current market price. Sir, what if below 100, 95? If the price of wheat would be 95, then why X will deny for the delivery. He has to, the market price is 95 and he's getting 100. Then why he will go for the um, for the denial of the while he go for the cancellation of the contract? He will definitely make the delivery. Even that he is not able to deliver, he cannot claim anything because there is no loss to him. Any other thing? So friends, should we go for the remedies? Should we start? Okay, Pratik. अगर एक्स की सप्लायर की वजह से वो नहीं दे पाया, अरे सर आप भूल गए एक्सेप्शंस. थर्ड पार्टी परफॉर्मेंस इज नॉट एनी एक्सक्यूज. Third party performance is not any excuse for X and content in X and Y. Even that he has to make the compensation. Okay, Sandeep, clear? Okay, so स्टॉप योर चैट बॉक्स. स्टार्ट बंद करते हैं और आप लोग प्लीज concentrate on the next slides. Which remedy to pursue for breach of contract? Recession. Recession means cancellation. Suit for damages, compensation, special performance, quantum merit, injunction. Let's discuss one by one. Meaning damages. Damages means monetary compensation awarded to the person. Monetary compensation awarded to the person. Ordinary damages. Ordinary damages means compensation equal to actual loss. Compensation equal to actual loss. Compensation equal to actual loss. Ordinary damages are those which naturally arise in the usual course of things from such breach. The measure of ordinary damages is difference between the contracted price and the market price at the date of breach. The measure of ordinary damages is the difference between the contract price and the market price at the date of breach. So when we take a previous example, we should if we go for 2nd February, then the actual loss is 110 minus 100, that is 10 rupees per quintal. If we go for the 3rd March, then the actual loss is 25. The actual loss, because the contract price between X and Y was 100 rupees per quintal. Now Y has to purchase at rupees 110. So he has to make the additional payment because of the fault of X. So he will claim this amount from Mr. X. See the example. A contract to deliver 100 tons of oils at rupees 1000 per ton on future date. On the due date, he refuses to deliver. The price on that day is rupees 1100 per ton. The measure of damage is the difference between the market price on the date of breach and contract price, that is rupees 10,000. How 10,000 calculated? 1100 minus 1000 for 100 tons. 100 into 100 equal to 10,000. Please read this point and example. Some people say, sir, Hindi में बताओ, but I am using the English word in very simple English words. Okay, actually, the mostly students are they are they are not comfortable with Hindi. So I am using the English, but very simple English and simple words. Okay. जहां भी मुझे लगेगा कि भैया बहुत टेक्निकल है, हिंदी बताना पड़ेगा, तो मैं उसको रिपीट कर दूंगा. Clear? So ordinary damages means compensation equals to actual loss, right? But important note, because on this point, many times a question has been asked in your exam. Compensation cannot be claimed for any remote or indirect loss or damages by reason of this breach. See the example. A railway passenger's wife caught cold and fell ill due to her being asked to get down at a place other than the railway station, and she had to walk a long distance in cold night to reach home. In a suit by the plaintiff means the person who files a suit against the railway company, it was held that the damages for the personal inconvenience of the plaintiff alone would be granted, but not for the sickness of the plaintiff's wife. What actually happened? The actual case, railway passenger was traveling, but on the way there was a problem in the train. So it was informed the every passenger to please get down from the train and take a shelter at some place nearby hotel and any resort, any lodge. But because the weather was very cold, the wife of the passenger caught cold and fell ill. So after that incident, he filed the suit in the court to claim the charges of hotel, personal inconvenience, and also the medication charges for the wife. Medication charges for the wife. The court said the sickness is the indirect loss, and railway company is not liable for that. It will pay the hotel charges, lodge charges, और personal inconvenience. क्या था, मैं इसको हिंदी में भी बोल रहा हूँ, रिपीट कर रहा हूँ इस केस को हिंदी में. रेलवे पैसेंजर ट्रेवल कर रहे थे, कपल ट्रेवल कर रहा था रेलवे से, कहीं ट्रेन में कोई प्रॉब्लम आई और उसकी वजह से जो इन्फॉर्म किया गया, भैया आप ये ट्रेन रुक गई है, आपको चलेगी नहीं, सही होना पड़ेगा, आप कहीं पास में कहीं होटल या लॉज में आप इसको आप रोक सकते हैं. एक कपल ने जब ट्रेवल कर रहा था तो सर्दी बहुत थी, तो उसकी वाइफ को बीमार हो गई, कोल्ड हो गया. अब उस पैसेंजर ने क्लेम किया रेलवे कंपनी से कि सर मेरी पर्सनल इनकन्वीनियंस से खर्चे दो, आप होटल के खर्चे दो, और जो मेरी वाइफ बीमार हुई, ट्रेन खराब होने की वजह से मुझे जाना पड़ा, वाइफ बीमार हुई, उसका खर्चा भी दो, मेडिसिन चार्जेस. कोर्ट ने कहा भैया देखो ऐसा है, आपको होटल के चार्जेस मिलेंगे, पर्सनल इनकन्वीनियंस मिलेंगे, लेकिन वाइफ जो बीमार हुई है उसकी दवाई के खर्चे आपको नहीं मिलेंगे, बिकॉज दिस इज द इनडायरेक्ट लॉस. सो अ रेलवे पैसेंजर वाइफ कॉट cold and fell ill due to her being asked to get down at a place other than the railway station, and she had to walk a long distance in cold night to reach the home. In a suit by the plaintiff against the railway company, it was held that the damages for personal inconvenience of the plaintiff alone would be granted, but not for the sickness of the plaintiff's wife. Please read this example once again. Important example. Special damages. Special damages means when a party to contract receive a notice of special circumstances affecting the contract, he will be liable not only for damages arising naturally, means ordinary damages, and directly from the breach, but also for the special damages. See the example. Means there may be some circumstances where the party will claim ordinary damages plus special damages. See the example, then come to the provisions again. A delivered a machine to B, a common carrier, to be conveyed to A's mill without delay. A also informed B that this mill was stopped for want of machine. Want means non-supply of machine. B unreasonably delayed the delivery of machine, and in consequence A lost the profitable contract with the government. In this case, A is entitled to receive from B by way of compensation the average amount of profit which would have been made by running the mill during the period of delay, but he cannot recover the loss sustained due to the loss of the government, as the A's contract with the government was not brought to the notice of B. Please read this example, then I will repeat in English and also repeat in Hindi also. Please read this example. A delivered the machine to A delivered a machine to B, a common carrier, to be conveyed to A's mill without delay. A also informed B that mill was stopped from the want of machine. A ordered to deliver. Please make the correction. Order. Yeah, you can say okay. Come to चलने दीजिए. एग्जाम्पल है कि ए ने एक मशीन एक कैरियर कंपनी को दी कि भैया ये मशीन मेरी फैक्ट्री पे छोड़ दो, मेरी मिल पे छोड़ दो, डिलीवर कर दो. और कैरियर कंपनी कौन थी? बी. कैरियर कंपनी कौन थी? बी. और बी को इन्फॉर्म किया कि भैया अगर ये मशीन टाइम पर नहीं आई तो मेरी मिल बंद हो जाएगी. द मिल वॉज स्टॉप फॉर वांट ऑफ मशीन. लेकिन बी की लापरवाही से मशीन डिले हो गई और इस वजह से इन कॉन्सिक्वेंस ए लॉस्ट ए प्रॉफिटेबल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद गवर्नमेंट. और इस वजह से एक गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी कैंसिल हो गया. लेकिन गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वाज नॉट इन्फॉर्म बाय ए टू बी. अ गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वाज नॉट इन्फॉर्म बाय ए टू बी. ए ने इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया था बी को कि मेरा गवर्नमेंट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी है कोई. But so in this case, A is entitled to receive from B by way of compensation the average amount of profit which would have been made by the running the mill during the period delay. तो इस केस में जितना प्रॉफिट नॉर्मली कमाती कंपनी ए कंपनी कमाती उतना ही प्रॉफिट उसे मिलेगा. जो गवर्नमेंट का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चला गया उसका जो लॉस हुआ वो रिकवर नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि ए ने बी को इस बारे में इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया. So what is the actually case? A delivered the machine to be a common carrier to be delivered to the A's mill by informing that please deliver on time, otherwise my mill has to be stopped. But because of carelessness of B, the delivery was too delayed. A has to lose the government order also. But the government order was not informed by A to B. So in this case, A can recover only the average amount of profit during the period delay, but he cannot claim the loss due to the loss of government contract. But if in this case, A has informed the B about the government contract at the time of contract between A and B, then he can claim the loss also. अगर ए ने बी को बताया होता कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के सम पे भैया अगर तुमने डिलीवर नहीं किया तो गवर्नमेंट का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट चला जाएगा मेरा. इन दैट केस ए बी से वो लॉस भी क्लेम कर सकता है. प्लीज रीड दिस एग्जाम्पल वंस अगेन. प्लीज रीड. Please read this example once again. So special damages can be claimed only where it was informed at the time of contract. Vindictive or exemplary damages. Please note down these damages are awarded only two cases for breach of promise to marry and wrongful dishonor by the banker of his customer check, where the loss value cannot be estimated. So, in case of breach of promise to marry, the loss cannot be evaluated. In case of wrongful dishonor by the banker for a customer check, so loss of customer's credit cannot be valued. So please note down just two things. The vindictive or exemplary damages are awarded only where breach of promise to marry, wrongful dishonor by the banker of his customer's check. Liability to pay nominal damages. Nominal damages, actually, these are awarded where there is a breach of contract, but there is no actual loss to the promisee. Breach of promise by the promiser, but there is no actual loss to the promisee. So, to calm the ego of the promisee, this nominal damages awarded like 1 rupees 10 paisa. Nominal damages are awarded where the plaintiff has proved that there has been a breach of contract, but he has not in fact suffered any real damages. It is awarded just to establish the right to decree for the breach of contract. The amount may be rupee or even 10 paisa. See the example. A firm consisting of 4 partners employed B for a period of 2 years. After 6 months, 2 partners retired, the business being carried on by the other 2. B declined to be employed under the continuing partners, held he was only entitled to nominal damages as had suffered no loss. What is the case? Actually, firm has 4 partners appointed Mr. B for 2 years, but after 6 months, 2 partners are retired. Now the employee say the B is saying, sir, my appointment was made by 4 partners, but now only 2 partners. So I need the compensation. So your salary is the same. You are getting the salary as per the contract. You actually there is no financial loss to you. So you will get only the nominal damage. Right? Please read this example. Please read this example. Damages for deterioration caused by delay. If any loss arises due to the delay in supply, that is called the deterioration by delay. In case of deterioration caused to the goods by delay, damages can be recovered from carrier even without notice. The word deterioration not only implies physical damage to the goods, but also it may be the loss of a special opportunity for sale. मतलब जरूरी नहीं कि एक्चुअल लॉस हुआ हो, अपॉर्चुनिटी निकल गई बेचने के लिए, वो भी लॉस माना जाएगा. See example number 8. A purchase a velvet for making cap for sale during the spring season. Due to delay in transit, he was unable to utilize it to the benefit during season. Held that was a fall in value of cloth arrived after season amounting to deterioration for which A was entitled to recover damages. What is actually happened? A has purchased a velvet for making the caps so that he can sell during the spring season. The delay was in delivery by the carrier company. So he has received the material after the season. He could not take the benefit. so he can claim the loss arise due to the delay. एक आदमी ने वेलवेट खरीदी कि भैया वो टोपियां बना के बेचेगा स्प्रिंग सीजन में, बसंत के महीने में, माल आने में देरी हो गई, बेनिफिट नहीं मिल पाया, कपड़े की वैल्यू कम हो गई, तो वो लॉस क्लेम कर सकता है कैरियर कंपनी से. प्लीज रीड, इन केस ऑफ डिटेरियोरेशन कॉज टू द गुड्स बाय डिले, damages can be recovered from carrier even without notice. The word deterioration do not only implies physical damage to the goods, but it may also mean the loss of a special opportunity for sale. Now, one more type of damage is prefix damages. Sometimes when making a contract, the party decides in advance, like if anyone breaks the contract, he will pay rupees so and so. This fixed amount can be of two types: liquidated damages, that is a reasonable estimate of likely loss in case of breach. Reasonable estimate, सब इतना loss होगा. Very high penalty, very high or unreasonable amount and fixed only to pressurize or threaten to the other party. Means the prefix damage of two types: reasonable amount, the liquid damages. Very high amount, it is called as penalty, just for the threaten the other party to perform according to the contract. Section 74 provides if an amount is already mentioned in the contract for breach, the aggrieved party, that is injured party, can claim the reasonable compensation, but the compensation cannot exceed the amount mentioned in the contract. So normally in India, law says liquid damage can be claimed. Relief in case of penalty can be given by the court. कि अगर लगता है बहुत ज्यादा अमाउंट ने लिख दिया है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में कि भैया गुड्स था, suppose one person has taken a loan for at the rate of 10% interest, with the condition that if the person could not repay the loan on due date, 50% interest will be charged. This is the nature of penalty. So the relief can be given on the part of penalty by the court. See the example. If the penalty provided by the contract is rupees 1 lakh and the actual loss because of breach is 70,000, only 70,000 shall be available as damages. That is the amount of actual loss and not the amount stipulated. But if the loss is rupees 1,50,000, then only 1 lakh can be claimed. See example number 10. X promised Y, a priest, to pay 10,000 a charity. The priest on X promise incurred certain liabilities towards the repairing of the temple to the extent of 7,500. Now Y can recover only 7,500. At this place, I am allowing you for ask your queries on chat box, and after that we will have the break of 5 minutes, and then we will complete the topic. Sir, please allow the chat box. सर अलाउ कर दिया क्या? ओके, वेट. एग्जाम्पल 3 तो बता कर अक्षित, एग्जाम्पल 3 कल भी बताया था बेटा मैंने आपको, आपने प्लीज ध्यान नहीं दिया. प्लीज पे अटेंशन. In last class we have discussed 2 or 3 times, and today I also discussed 2 or 3 times, that the contract was entered for 100 rupees and at 100 rupees, but the breach of contract on 2nd February at that time when the price is rupees 110. तो 110 रुपए का हो गया प्राइस, 10 रुपए जो एक्स्ट्रा पे करना पड़ा वो क्लेम कर सकता है. अगर वो ये डिसाइड करता है कि मैं 3rd मार्च तक लेके जाऊंगा, तो 3rd मार्च में जो प्राइस होगा तो उनका लॉस होगा, वो क्लेम कर सकता है. राइट. क्वेश्चन नंबर 6 क्या था? 6 था कि ए ने डिलीवर एक कैरियर कंपनी समझते हैं टेम्पू, उसमें मशीन रखवा दी कि भैया इस मशीन को लेके जाओ, हमारे घर पे छोड़ दो, मिल में छोड़ दो. अगर मिल में नहीं पहुंच पाई तो मिल बंद हो जाएगी. डिले हो गया, नहीं पहुंचा पाए, तो जो लॉस, जो तो प्रॉफिट कमाता जो प्रॉफिट कमाता वो प्रॉफिट नहीं कमा पाया तो वो उतना क्लेम कर सकता है। लेकिन इस वजह से उसका गवर्नमेंट ऑर्डर चला गया, तो गवर्नमेंट ऑर्डर पे जो लॉस हुआ वो क्लेम जब कर सकता था जब उसने पहले बताया होता एट द टाइम ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट। एग्जाम्पल 5, अगेन द एग्जाम्पल 5, द इनडायरेक्ट लॉस, कि भैया आप वाइफ एक पैसेंजर की को ट्रेन छोड़नी पड़ी, बीच में छोड़नी पड़ी, वाइफ की तबीयत खराब हो गई, तो कोर्ट ने क्या कहा, भैया आपका जो पर्सनल इनकन्वीनियंस है, जब मान लीजिए होटल में रुकते तो आप होटल का जो खर्चा होता, जो कन्वेंस का खर्चा होता, वो क्लेम कर सकते हैं। आपकी वाइफ बीमार हो गई, ये इनडायरेक्ट लॉस है, इसे क्लेम नहीं कर सकते। नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, नेक्स्ट क्वेरी फ्रॉम अमीशा। अमीशा, actually in example number 7, just a stupid case by the employee firm. When appointed Mr. B as an employee, they have 4 partners and appointed for 2 years. After 6 months, 2 partners retired from the firm. Now B has filed a suit, sir. At the time of contract, there are 4 partners. Now they have breached the contract. Court said, what is your loss? Sir, no loss is nothing. I'm getting the same salary. So you will get only the nominal damages. Example number 9. Example 9 says, if it was decided that maximum compensation is so and so, so it was decided the maximum compensation 1 lakh and actual loss is 70,000, then he can claim only 70,000. But if the actual loss is 1,50,000, so he can claim only maximum 1 lakh. In 10th, this is also we have discussed, and we also discuss in next unit. Gift, charity. In unit number 2, we have discussed the ex promised the priest for payment of 10,000 charity, and on this promise the priest has incurred some expenses for the repair of temple, that is amount 7,500, so he can claim the 7,500 from the Mr. X. Sir, does indirect damages necessarily mean involvement of third party? No. सर प्रीवियस फिक्स डैमेजेस नहीं है, प्री फिक्स डैमेजेस। प्री फिक्स डैमेज मतलब फिक्स डैमेजेस आर डिसाइडेड एट द टाइम ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। Sir, vindictive only in 2 cases. There are no other example, only 2 cases where the breach of contract of marriage or where the wrongly dishonor of the check by the bank. सर लॉस ऑफ लाइफ की तो विंडिक्टिव डैमेज होना चाहिए, बट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में यही लिखा होगा। सूट फॉर डैमेजेस डीईजी बता दिया डी बेटा, नॉमिनल डैमेज बताया मैंने आपको, जहां एक्चुअल लॉस नहीं हुआ तो केवल उसकी ईगो शांत करने के लिए क्या देते हैं उसे, नॉमिनल डैमेजेस। जो क्या हो सकता है, 1 रुपया 10 पैसे। ई ई पॉइंट डिले, सप्लाई देर से हुई, लॉस हो गया तो वो क्लेम कर सकते हैं। प्रीफिक्स डैमेजेस बताया मैंने बेटा, जो डिसाइड हो गया एट द टाइम ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रीफिक्स डैमेजेस। ओके, एनी अदर क्वेरी? एनी अदर क्वेरी? सर जी में थर्ड पॉइंट स्लाइड्स में, the slide is saying that liquid damages, reasonable damages can be claimed, but if the damages is in the nature of penalty, that is high damages, high compensation, so relief will be granted. And third point is saying that if that amount is decided that maximum compensation is so much amount, example number 9, in that case the maximum amount is equal to the decided at the time of contract. सर एक गिवन अमाउंट रीजनेबल है या पेनल्टी, कैसे डिसाइड करेंगे, ये दिस विल डिसाइड बाय द कोर्ट। एनी अदर थिंग? सर एग्जाम्पल 10 में, अरे भाई कैसी बात कर रहे हो, एग्जाम्पल 10 में क्या है, 10,000 का प्रॉमिस किया लेकिन 7,500 खर्च हुई, तो 7,500 क्लेम करेगा ना वो। Yes, Rudra, you can say. Any other point? Okay, so welcome back, everyone. So, in the before the lecture, before the break, we are discussing the prefix damages, the damages decided at the time of contract. If the damages are reasonable estimate of loss, they are called liquidated damages. If they are very much high than the estimate reasonable loss, they are called penalty. Sometimes while making the contract, the party decide in advance the amount to be paid. If the contract is broken, this amount called predetermined damages. The question is, will the court accept this fixed amount as final compensation? Means whether court will allow this compensation. The answer is different in English law and Indian law. English law, English law makes a clear difference between liquidated damages and penalty. It says if the amount fixed in the contract is genuine estimate of loss, it means both party honestly calculated the possible loss in advance and reasonable and fair. The court will allow the full amount mentioned. Penalty means if the amount fixed is very high or unreasonable, it is inserted only to threat or force the other party to perform. The court will ignore this amount. The injured party will get only actual loss, not the use penalty amount. Not use penalty amount, right? But in case of Indian law, section 74 of Indian Contract Act provides the Indian law does not make any difference between liquidated damages and penalty. What does the court do in India? The court gives reasonable compensation, but it will never give more than the amount mentioned in the contract. It may give less than the amount mentioned. So the amount written in the contract is the maximum limit, not the automatic amount. Important point. Section 74 allows recovery of reasonable compensation only. It does not allow the recovery of penalty. So almost the same thing in case of English law and the Indian law. In English law, clear definition of liquid damage and penalty, but in Indian law, there is no clarity. They only provide a reasonable compensation. Please read this point, this slide. I'm reading once again. English law makes a clear difference between liquid damages and penalty. In Indian law, there is no difference in liquid damages and penalty. But one thing you should note that only reasonable compensation will be allowed, no scope for penalty. Exception for this rule, section 74. If the person gives a bond to central state government for performing public duty, something related to public interest, then on breach he must pay the entire amount including penalty. If the bond is bond मतलब उसने कमिटमेंट किया हुआ है गवर्नमेंट को, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को, भैया ये और जो पब्लिक के वेलफेयर का काम था वो नहीं करा तो पेनल्टी पूरी लगेगी भाई. So in this case full amount can be recovered. See example number 11. A contract with B that if A practices as surgeon in Kolkata, he will pay rupees 50,000. A practicing surgeon as a surgeon practice as a surgeon, A practice as a surgeon in Kolkata, B is entitled to such compensation not exceeding 50,000 as courts consider reasonable. A ने कॉन्टेक्ट किया B से कि वो सर्जन की A प्रैक्टिस करेगा सर्जन कोलकाता में और वो B को 50,000 रुपए पे करेगा, तो मैक्सिमम कंपनसेशन 50,000 होगा. Example 12. A borrows 10,000 from B and gives him a bond of rupees 20,000 payable by 5 yearly installment of 4,000 within a stipulation that in default of payment the whole shall become due. This is stipulation by way of penalty. Means कि सब 10,000 है, borrow 10,000 and penalty and repayment is 20,000. 4,000 equally. This is the double interest. So this is the nature of penalty. Example 13A undertakes to repay B a loan of 10,000 by 5 equal monthly installments, with the stipulation that in default of payment of any installment, the whole amount shall become due. This stipulation is not by way of penalty and contract may be enforced according to terms. चला 10,000 रुपए का पेमेंट करना है इंस्टॉलमेंट में, अगर एक भी इंस्टॉलमेंट डिफॉल्ट हो गया तो सारा पेमेंट करेगा. लॉ से कि दिस इज नॉट a nature of penalty. Please read example 11, 12, 13 once again. Now rescission of contracts. Suppose one party is breaching the contract, is not interested to perform as per the contract, the other parties allow, okay, cancel the contract. It means the other party has option, the remedy, he can also cancel the contract. When a contract is broken by one party, the other party may treat the contract as resigned. In such a case, he becomes free from all his obligations under the contract, is entitled to compensation for any damages that he may have suffered. He can cancel the contract but can claim the compensation. See, A promises B to deliver 50 bags of cement on a certain day. B agrees to pay the amount on receipt of goods. A failed to deliver the cement on the appointed day. B is discharged from the liability to pay the price. What was decided in the contract? That A will deliver 50 bags of cement to B and B will make the payment on receipt of the goods. So if A does not deliver the goods, that is 50 bags of cement, then B is not liable to make the payment. We can also cancel the contract. When a contract broken by one party, the other party may treat the contract as resigned. In such a case, he becomes free from all his obligations under the contract and is entitled to compensation for any damages that he might have suffered. A promises B to deliver 50 bags of cement on a certain day. B agrees to pay the amount of receipt of the goods. A failed to deliver the cement on the appointed day. Now B is discharged from his liability to pay the price. Please read the example once again. Suit for quantum merit. Quantum merit means as much as जितना मैंने काम कर लिया उतना पेमेंट कर दो मुझे. अगर आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तोड़ रहे हो तो जितना काम कर लिया उतना पेमेंट कर दो. The phrase quantum merit literally means as much as earned. As much as earned. Please underline as much as earned. Or according to the quantity of work done. According to the quantity of work done. The claim on quantum merit must be brought by a party who is not at default. Means claim can be done by the other party other than the party who has made the default, who is innocent party, that can claim the quantum merit. However, in certain cases, the party in default may also sue for the work done if contract is divisible. Contract is divisible. Divisible means contract can be divided. For example, we have given a contract to a painter for painting my house, my two houses. The work is divided. He has painted one house and could not perform painting in of the second house. This is the work divided, divisible work. Following are the cases in which a claim quantum merit may arise. When an agreement is discovered to be void, work has been started, but after completing some work, it was the work becomes void. The performance contract become void. Where an agreement is discovered to be void, if an agreement is discovered to be void or becomes void due to any subsequent impossibility, for example, any person who has received any advantage under such agreement or contract is bound to restore it or make it compensation for it to the person from whom he has received it. For example, let's take an example. A employed B for painting the house of A. A employed B for painting the house of B. B was B has completed the 25% work. B has completed 25% work, but due to any natural calamity, the house was demolished. So there was no fault from B. Now B can claim the amount for 25% work. So for where if the agreement is discovered to be void or become void, any person who has received any advantage, so A has taken advantage under such agreement is bound to restore it or to make the compensation for it to the person from whom he has received it. See the example number 15. A agrees to deliver 100 kgs of rice to B at a price of 40 per kg. The rice were to be delivered in two installments of 50 kg each. It delivered the first installment but failed to supply the second due to some unavoidable reasons. B must pay for the 50. भैया 100 का ऑर्डर किया था, 50 हो गए, अनअवॉइडेबल रीजन है, उसके हाथ में नहीं है, कोई गलती नहीं है, तो भैया 50 का पेमेंट तो करो आप. Please read the example once again, then I will come to the point number B. B point, where something is done or delivered without intention to do gratuitously, means free of cost. If someone is not doing anything gratuitously, अगर कोई इंसान फ्री में कुछ बांट नहीं रहा है तो वो क्लेम कर सकता है. Where a person does some act or delivers something to another person with the intention of receiving payment for the same. In such a case, the person is bound to make the payment if he accepts such service or goods or enjoy their benefit. I'm going to in a Hindi version something. I will take some points in Hindi also at this at this point. Actually, in this B point, what is law is trying to say that if person is doing something non-gratuitously, विदाउट इंटेंशन टू ग्रेचुटी, उसके कोई इच्छा नहीं है फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट करने की, तो कोई उससे कोई सर्विस ले रहा है तो उसको पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा. नॉर्मली क्या होता है, एक्चुअली मैं इसलिए कह रहा था, हम लोग जैसे सीए डॉक्टर्स या किसी पार्टी में जाते हैं ना, तो लोग हमसे क्या करते हैं, पूछना चालू कर देते हैं कि सर वो जीएसटी का क्या हो रहा है, ये क्या हो रहा है. तो मेरी कोई इंटेंशन किसी को फ्री में एडवाइस देने की नहीं है. आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड टू गिव एनी एडवाइस इन फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. So in that case, if we go for the law, we can claim the compensation for such advice seekers. जो करना सर राह चलते में शादियों पार्टी में पूछ लेते हैं कि सर जीएसटी में जो नया आया है या इनकम टैक्स में ये जो नया एक्ट आया है, तो लॉ इज सेइंग सो. Where the person has no intention to do anything gratuitously and other person is taking services from him, then other person is liable to make the payment. Where a person does some act or delivers something to another person with the intention of receiving payment for the same, that is non-gratuitous act. In such a case, the other person is bound to make payment if he accepts such service or goods or enjoy their benefit. See the example. A trader leaves his goods at B's place by mistake. A ने अपना goods कहाँ रख दिया, B के घर पे रख दिया. Now B treats it as his own. Now he has to make the payment. He has put the goods at your house by mistake and you treat it as a own. You have to make the payment. Actually, this type of contract is also called quasi-contract. We will discuss in unit number 6. Where the contract is divisible, and one party has enjoyed the benefit of part performance, then other party may sue on the quantum merit. भाई divisible है, so that he can claim the payment for the part of the work he has completed. X wrongfully revoked Y's agent authority before Y could complete the duties. Held Y could recover as quantum merit for the work he has done and expenses he had incurred in the course of his duty as an agent. In this example, actually X has appointed Y for doing some work. Before the work is completed, Y has completed some part of the work, and X now revoking the contract of agency. So Y can claim the compensation for the work what he has already done for X. X ने अगर कोई Y को एजेंट बनाया कि भैया तुम्हें ये काम करना है और काम पूरा नहीं हो पाया, कुछ काम हो गया, उससे पहले एजेंट से कहा भैया अब हमें काम नहीं कराना, तो जितना काम हो गया उतना पेमेंट करो आप. X wrongfully revokes Y's agent authority before Y could complete that his duties, held Y could recover as a quantum merit for the work he had done and the expenses he had incurred in the course of his duty as an agent. Suit for specific performance. A direct question for 2 or 3 marks may be asked on this point. Where the monetary compensation is not sufficient, then the court may allow for specific performance. For example, you have booked the room in a hotel, and when you reach the hotel says, sorry sir, our hotel is completely occupied. The category of a room you have selected, they are fully occupied. So in that case, the hotel manager have to allot you another room of the same category or higher category, not the lower category. Because the monetary compensation at this place is not good or sufficient. Where damages are not an adequate remedy in case of breach of contract, the court may, in its discretion on a suit for specific performance, direct the party in breach to carry out his promise according to the terms of the contract. What you have decided in the contract, please complete as per the contract. This is called the specific performance. But exceptions, the specific performance will not be granted. A specific performance will not be granted where monetary compensation is adequate relief, where monetary compensation is sufficient, where contract is of personal nature, contract of marriage. Suppose A contracted with married to B, and B at the time of date of marriage B denied. So court cannot say that in place of B, C can marry with A. No, not possible. If it is not possible for the court to supervise the performance of contract, whether like construction work, it is not possible to court to check whether the work is the contract is completing or performing according to the contract or order of the court. And where the contract is ultra wires of company, the companies work according to the company law and their own laws, memorandum and articles. Ultra wires beyond the power. Ultra wire beyond the power. If the contract was entered beyond the power of the company, beyond the powers of the company, then court will not allow for the specific performance. So please read. I'm again reading once again. You also read with me. Where damages are not an adequate remedy, in the case of breach of contract, the court may, in its discretion on a suit for specific performance, direct party in the breach to carry out his promise according to the terms of the contract. A specific performance will not be granted where the monetary compensation is adequate relief. Contract is of personal nature, that is like contract of marriage. It is not possible for the court to supervise performance of contract, example construction work. Contract is ultra wire, that is beyond the object of the company. Please read. Please read. Sir, if we had paid the transportation charge, can we recover it? Yes. Last point, suit for injunction. Injunction means stay order. Stay order मतलब रोकने का contract. If one party perform against the contract, then other party can take the stay order from the court. See the example. Where a party to contract is negating the terms of the contract, means working against the contract, the court may, by issuing an injunction order, restrain him from doing what he promised not to do. See example number 18. And a film star agreed to act exclusively for a particular producer for 1 year. During the year, he contracted to act for some other producer, held he could be restrained by injunction. Means, and a film star contracted to work exclusively for a particular producer for 1 year. But during the 1 year, he has contracted for another producer. The stay order can be taken by the first producer. One more example. A singer agreed with B to perform at his theatre for 2 months on the condition that during this period she would not perform anywhere. In this case, if B could move the court for grant of the injunction restraining A from performing in other places. Means the singer had decided to perform for B only for 2 months. But if during this period, if singer go for singing in another theatre, that producer or Mr. A, B can take the stay order from the court कि भैया ए ने कॉन्टेक्ट किया था बी के साथ कि भैया वो हमारे यहाँ होटल हमारे थिएटर में गाना गाएगी 2 महीने तक. इफ 2 महीने में कहीं और गाना गा जाती है तो बी कोर्ट से स्टे ऑर्डर ले सकता है. प्लीज रीड दिस एग्जांपल केयरफुली, देन वी विल अलाउ चैट बॉक्स. I have opened the chat box for your queries. सर चैट बॉक्स प्लीज एबल कर दीजिएगा, शायद मुझे पास पार्ट पे नहीं हो पा रहा है.
सर चैट ऑन करनी है.
सर चैट बॉक्स अलाउ कर दीजिए.
डन सर.
Okay, so please ask your queries, students. If you have any query, स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस, अक्षित मैंने बताया बेटे आपको, स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस का मतलब होता है कि जहां मॉनेटरी कंसिडरेशन सफिशिएंट नहीं हो तो वहां पे क्या मिलेगा, स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस कि भैया आपको कॉम्पनसेशन से काम नहीं चलेगा, इसके बदले में कुछ और प्रोवाइड करना पड़ेगा. ग्रांट कहां नहीं होगा, थर्ड और फोर्थ पॉइंट. थर्ड पॉइंट कहता है जहां कोर्ट ऑर्डर तो कर दे स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस का, पर वो खुद विजिट नहीं कर सकता हो. ठीक है. दूसरा, कंपनी लॉ में क्या होता है, कंपनी लॉ चलता है कंपनीज एक्ट और कंपनी के एमओए के हिसाब से. अगर उसके कुछ बियॉन्ड है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो कोर्ट कभी भी स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस अलाउ नहीं करेगा. सर कैन यू वंस अगेन एक्सप्लेन रेसेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. रेसेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मींस कैंसिलेशन ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. सपोज वन पार्टी डज नॉट वांट टू परफॉर्म, द अदर पार्टी हैज द ऑप्शन टू कैंसिल द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट आल्सो. कैंसिल द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट also, and but in that case he can also claim the compensation. विष्णु, अक्षय, ब्रीच ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में डैमेजेस एडिक्वेट रेमेडी नहीं है, मॉनेटरी कॉम्पनसेशन सफिशिएंट नहीं है तो स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस मिलेगा. अगर मॉनेटरी कॉम्पनसेशन सफिशिएंट है तो स्पेसिफिक परफॉर्मेंस नहीं मिलेगा. सर व्हाट इफ ए परफॉर्म्स इवन आफ्टर द स्टे ऑर्डर? भैया अगर ए ने कोर्ट के स्टे ऑर्डर के बाद भी परफॉर्म किया तो फिर तो कोर्ट ही पनिशमेंट देगा भाई, ये तो अवेल ना हो जाएगी, वायलेशन ऑफ द कोर्ट ऑर्डर। इन एग्जाम्पल 18, the after the actor is restrained, can that other producer also sue him? Yes, definitely. कॉन्ट्रैक्ट डिविजिबल है होता है तो जितना काम हो गया उतना क्लेम कर सकते हैं। एनी अदर डाउट? और पूछिए। और कोई क्वेरी? से यस और नो। सर ए क्वांटम मेरिट में ए पॉइंट क्या था कि अगर एग्रीमेंट वॉइड हो जाता है सब्सिक्वेंटली तो जितना काम हो गया उतना का पेमेंट मिल जाएगा। बी पॉइंट कहता है कि अगर मेरी कोई इच्छा फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट देने की नहीं थी तो फिर आप मुझसे कोई एडवाइस ले रहे हो तो मेरा पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा। मेरे ऑफिस में कोई आता है मुझसे एडवाइस लेता है तो कहता है सर मैं तो ये सोचा था फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट दे रहे हो एडवाइस, नहीं भैया पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा। क्लियर? अक्षय क्लियर हुआ बेटा? एनी अदर क्वेरी? तो शुड वी स्टार्ट 15 और 19? 15 क्वेश्चन क्या था? 100 किलो चावल का ऑर्डर था, 50 दे दिया, बचा हुआ 50 नहीं दे पाया, कोई रीजन थे, वैलिड रीजन थे तो उसके लिए अलाउ किया, जब 50 का पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा। 19 एग्जाम्पल में सिंगर को 2 महीने, सिंगर ने 2 महीने कॉन्टेक्ट किया कि भैया मैं इस प्रोड्यूसर के संग काम करूंगी, 2 महीने इसी थिएटर में गाना गाऊंगी। तो इस 2 महीने में अगर वो कहीं और गाना गाती है तो जो थिएटर वाला है वो क्लेम स्टे ऑर्डर ले सकता है कोर्ट से। लिक्विडेटेड मीन्स रीजनेबल कॉम्पनसेशन, यस। सर ये सूट फॉर इंजंक्शन के अकॉर्डिंग तो अगर गवर्नमेंट ने किसी एम्प्लॉय को कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर रखा है तो उसका ट्रांसफर नहीं हो सकता, डिपेंड अपॉन द टर्म्स ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, that will work only what decided in the contract, terms of the contract. अक्षय क्या कह रहे हैं समझ नहीं पाया, ज्यादा अमाउंट मेंशन नहीं होता, मुझे क्लियर नहीं हुआ आप क्या कहना चाह रहे हो। सेक्शन 47 एंड 48 आर फॉर परफॉर्मेंस। एक बार उसको रिकॉर्डिंग चेक कीजिए, क्लियर हो जाएगा बेटा, एक बार रिकॉर्डिंग में को देखिएगा, मैंने पूरा क्लियरली डेलीवेट किया है उसको। डैमेज में पॉइंट नंबर 2 और 3 मेंशन करिए प्लीज, कौन सा पॉइंट? 2 और 3 नहीं है कोई पॉइंट, एक बार क्लियर करो बेटा, नाम लिख के दो। सर क्या प्रोड्यूसर केस फाइल नहीं कर सकता? कर सकता है, बिल्कुल कर सकता है। और कोई क्वेरी? बेटा जितना अमाउंट डिसाइड हुआ है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉम्पनसेशन का, मैक्सिमम उतना ही कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा। एग्जाम्पल 9 में मैंने डिस्कस किया था कि 1 लाख रुपए का डिसाइड हुआ है मैक्सिमम कॉम्पनसेशन, तो लॉस अगर 70 का हुआ है तो 70 मिलेगा, लेकिन लॉस अगर 1.5 लाख का हुआ है तो केवल 1 लाख कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा। क्लियर? स्टे ऑर्डर का मतलब कि एक तो कॉम्पनसेशन भी क्लेम किया जाएगा, उसे रुकवाया जाएगा। सपोज इन एग्जांपल नंबर 18 अगर स्टे ऑर्डर ले लिया तो फिर एन किसी और प्रोड्यूसर के लिए परफॉर्म नहीं कर सकता। रिमोट डैमेजेस, इनडायरेक्ट डैमेज, इनडायरेक्ट लॉसेस, डायरेक्टली कनेक्टेड नहीं है, इनडायरेक्ट लॉस है। प्रोवाइड द लिंक ऑफ टेलीग्राम चैनल। अजीत सर प्लीज एक बच्चे को टेलीग्राम का लिंक चाहिए, सिमरन को टेलीग्राम चैनल का प्रोवाइड कर दीजिएगा। नाउ कम टू द LPL1। पेनल्टी अमाउंट इज अनएनफोर्सेबल नहीं कह सकते, पेनल्टी अमाउंट के अगेंस्ट रिलीफ दी जा सकती है, गवर्नमेंट रिलीफ दे देगी। क्वांटम मेरिट LIC कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर भी मेंशन होगा, डेफिनेटली होगा। So should we start LPL match 1? Please tell me. यस और नो कुछ तो बोलो भाई। ओके, वेरी गुड। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, a contract to marry B before the agreed date of marriage. A marries C, here B is entitled to sue A for actual breach of it is listen though, I am reading again, once again. A contract to marry B before the agreed date of marriage. A marries C, here B is entitled to sue A for actual breach in express manner, anticipatory breach in express manner, actual breach in implied manner, anticipatory breach in implied manner. कोर्ट अमाउंट को इग्नोर करता है, पेनल्टी में इग्नोर नहीं करता, उसमें रिलीफ ग्रांट कर सकता है, कम कर सकता है, रीजनेबल अमाउंट अलाउ कर सकता है। सेकंड क्वेश्चन, इन केस ऑफ एंटीसिपेटरी ब्रीच रेमेडीज अवेलेबल टू aggrieved party are he can wait till due date, he cannot claim damages, he has no right at all, none of the above. Select the best option. Remedies open to a person suffering from breach of contract are suit for damages, suit for quantum merit, suit for injunction, all of the above. अक्षित पूछ रहे हैं इंजर्ड पार्टी को एक्चुअल लॉस मिलता है? बिल्कुल मिलेगा सर, कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा, बिल्कुल मिलेगा। Quantum merit means a non-gratuitous promise, as implied promise, as much as earned, as much as paid. A specific performance may be ordered by the court when the court is voidable, contract is voidable, damages are an adequate remedy, damages are not an adequate remedy, defaulting party is not ready to pay damages. And singer contracted with a theatre manager to sing a song. Due to her illness, she failed to perform the contract. She received 20,000 as advance and must refund 20,000. Need not to refund 20,000. They must enter into new agreement. None of these. So let's start the answers. A contract to marry B before the agreed date, before the anticipatory हो गया. A marry C. So this is the anticipatory breach in implied manner. Actual breach may be possible when on the due date, before the agreed date. Anticipatory breach. In case of anticipatory breach, he can wait till the due date. Remedies open to perform suffering from breach of contract are all of the above. as much as earned. A specific performance may be ordered by the court when damages are not an adequate remedy. Must refund 20,000. So let's see lucky winners. First person is Aisha, Vishnu, Akshay, Dakshta, Deepak. So these were the persons who have given the correct answers. So let's go for the practice session. Mr. Rohan entered into a contract with Mr. Vivek to supply him 2,000 steel bottles at rupees 12 per bottle to be delivered on a specified date. Thereafter, Mr. Rohan entered into a contract with Mr. Kunal for purchase of 2,000 steel bottles at rupees 10 per bottle. At the time of making the contract, the Rohan informed Mr. Kunal that the bottles were required for fulfilling his contract with Mr. Vivek. However, Mr. Kunal failed to supply the bottle on the due date. On that date, the market price of each steel bottle had risen 13.50. Consequently, Mr. Rohan could not arrange the bottle from any other source, and Mr. Vivek resigned the contract. Calculate the amount of damages which Mr. Rohan can claim from Mr. Kunal in the above circumstances. Also state the amount of damages if Kunal had not been informed about the contract between the Rohan and Mr. Vivek. Explain with reference of the provisions. सर डैमेज की कैलकुलेशन करनी है, बिल्कुल करनी है साहब, करिए डैमेज की कैलकुलेशन.
चैट डिस्टेबल.
सर चैट अलाउ कर दीजिए सर.
अलाउ करना सर.
हाँ सर, क्वेरी पूछ रहा हूँ, बच्चों से आंसर पूछ रहा हूँ. प्लीज टेल मी द अमाउंट of compensation in this example. चलिए, क्वेश्चन क्या था. रोहन ने मिस्टर रोहन हैज एंटर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद मिस्टर विवेक टू सप्लाई हिम 2,000 bottles at rupees 12. So Mr. Rohan have to supply the bottles at rupees 12. For this purpose, Rohan has contracted to purchase the 2,000 bottles from Mr. Kunal at rupees 10 per bottle. At the time of making the contract, Rohan also informed Mr. Kunal that bottles were required for fulfilling his contract, Mr. Vivek. Mr. Kunal failed to supply the bottles on due date, and on that day, the market price of each steel bottle had risen to rupees 13.5. Consequently, Mr. Rohan could not arrange the bottle from any other source, and Mr. Vivek resigned the contract. Calculate the damages which Mr. Rohan can claim. See the answer. Section 73 of Indian Contract Act 1872 provides that when a contract is broken, the aggrieved party is entitled to receive compensation for loss or damage caused to him, which naturally arose in the usual course of things from such breach or which the parties knew at the time of making the contract to be likely to result from such breach. The leading case on this point is Hadley versus Baxendale. In this case, it was held that where the special circumstances are communicated to other party, damages resulting from the breach under those special circumstances can be recovered. So in the present case, Mr. Rohan informed Mr. Kunal that steel bottles were required for performing his contract with Mr. Vivek. Therefore, Kunal was aware of the special circumstances. Hence, Mr. Rohan is entitled to recover the profit which he would earn from the contract with Mr. Vivek. That is 4,000. This is additional. Actually, the actual contract was 10 rupees. Now market price is 13.50. So he can claim 7,000 if no idea of the profit of the contract with Mr. Vivek. But if he has idea, then there was a contract, then he can claim 4,000 additional. He will purchase at 10,000. He will purchase at rupees 10 and sold to 12. So what he will get? Rupees 2. So 2 for 2,000, 4,000. And please listen. And if he has no idea, then he has to pay the market price and difference in contract price. See, profit per bottle is 12 minus 10, 2 rupees. Damages 2,000 into 2, 4,000. Therefore, one can claim 4,000 as damage from Mr. Kunal. However, if Kunal had not been informed, Mr. Vivek can only order damages that would be recoverable. That is the difference between contract price and the difference price, that is 10. So he can claim 3.5. Total amount can be claimed 7,000. Okay. One more question. Please read fastly. Message Janta Machine Tools and Company contracted with Message Ruchi Traders to make and deliver certain machine by 31st July on 15 lakh. There was a labor strike in the factory of Message Janta Machine Tool and Company and could not manufacture and deliver the machinery to Miss Ruchi Traders. Afterwards, Message Ruchi Traders has to purchase the machinery from another manufacturer for 18 lakhs. Message Ruchi Trader was also prevented from performing a contract which was made with Message Shikha Technology at the time of contract with the Message Janta Machine Tool and Company, and were compelled to pay compensation of rupees 2 lakh to Message Shikha about his contract and with Message Shikha Technologies. Message Ruchi Traders sued the Message Janta Machine Tool and Company for recovery of compensation of 3 lakhs. That is 18 lakh minus 15 lakh plus 2 lakh given to the Message Shikha Technologies. Advised under the provisions of Indian Contract Act 1872. Please read this question carefully. Nandini, you are talking about question number 1. I will give the answer in next class because I think something to be changed in this answer. So please wait for question number 1. Everyone, please wait for question number 1. I will very much clear. I think there's something printing mistake in this exam answer, question number 1. So I will take it at the next class definitely. Okay, but come to the question number 2. Give the answers. Come to the provisions. Section 73 of Indian Contract Act 1872 has laid down the rules as to how The amount of compensation is to be determined. On the breach of the contract, the party who suffers from such a breach is entitled to receive from the party who has broken this contract compensation for any loss or damages caused to him by breach. Compensation can be claimed for any loss or damage which naturally arise in the usual course of event. Further, compensation can also be claimed for any loss or damage which the party knew when they entered into the contract as likely to result from the breach. This is to say the special damages can be claimed only on a previous notice, but the party suffering from the breach is bound to take reasonable steps to minimize the loss. No compensation is payable for any remote or indirect loss. In the instant case, Messrs. Ruji Traders sued Messrs. Janta Machine Tools and Company for recovery of compensation of rupees 3 lakhs. That is 18 lakhs minus 15 lakhs plus 2 lakhs given to the Messrs. Ch2 Technologies. As Ruchi Traders informed Janta Machine Tools and Company about the contract with Ch2 Technologies at the time of making the contract, hence 2 lakhs is special damage which can be recovered with the ordinary damages of rupees 3 lakhs, which is loss cost to it. So it can be claimed 15 lakhs. Okay, please read the question carefully. Mega ma'am, are you there?
जी सर,
मैम नमस्कार मैम, प्लीज कोई क्वेरी हो तो आप ले लीजिए जब तक बच्चों के रिप्लाई आ रहे हैं इस पर। कोई बच्चे की कोई कुछ पूछना हो तो प्लीज अलाउ।
Yes, students, if you are having any query, please raise your hand if you want to interact with the faculty. Or otherwise, you can send your queries through chat portion also.
Sir, 5 lakhs are claimable in this case, right? Definitely. सर ये वाला क्वेश्चन एक बार हिंदी में समझा दो। चलो भैया समझ लो हिंदी में। जनता मशीन टूल्स एंड कंपनी कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड रुचि ट्रेडर्स to make and deliver certain machinery by 31st July for 15 lakhs. जनता मशीन टूल ने कॉन्टेक्ट किया रुचि ट्रेडर से कि मशीन सप्लाई करनी है 31 जुलाई तक जिसकी कीमत है 15 लाख रुपए। There was a labor strike in the factory of Janta Machine Tools. It could not manufacture and deliver the machine to Ruchi Traders. लेबर स्ट्राइक हो गई जनता मशीन के कंपनी में, जनता मशीन टूल एंड कंपनी में। उस वजह से क्या हुआ, सप्लाई नहीं हो पाई मशीन की। आफ्टरवर्ड्स रुचि ट्रेडर्स हैड टू परचेज द मशीनरी फ्रॉम अनदर मैन्युफैक्चरर फॉर 18 lakhs. 18 लाख में मशीन खरीदी। रुचि ट्रेडर्स was also prevented from performing a contract made with the Ch2 Technologies at the time of contract with Janta Machine 2 and were compelled to pay the compensation of 2 lakh to Ch2 Technologies. मशीन नहीं आने की वजह से रुचि ट्रेडर्स शिखा टेक्नोलॉजी से जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था वो पूरा नहीं कर पाई और 2 लाख का कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ा। जनता मशीन टूल वॉज वेरी वेल इन्फॉर्म्ड बाय रुचि ट्रेडर्स अबाउट द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद शिखा टेक्नोलॉजीज। रुचि ट्रेडर्स ने जनता मशीन टूल को प्रॉपर इन्फॉर्म किया था, भैया हमारा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है शिखा टेक्नोलॉजी से, अगर हमारा पूरा नहीं हुआ तो वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हमें कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ेगा उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अगेंस्ट। ठीक है, रुचि ट्रेडर्स ने क्या कहा कि भैया एक तो मशीन महंगी खरीदी हमने, 15 लाख का माल 18 में खरीदा, 3 लाख वो दो और 2 लाख कॉम्पनसेशन देने पड़े वो हमें दो। क्लियर हो गई बात बेटा? अब समझ में आया हिंदी में? अक्षित को अनम्यूट करना है। अक्षित रेज, यस।
Sir, he has not raised his hand.
Okay.
Now he has raised. Sir, can I unmute him?
Please, ma'am.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, beta ji.
Sir, that day discussed, I completed those 3 units. Now I सवेरे में, सॉरी, स्टार्टिंग क्लास में मैंने वो क्वेश्चंस भेजे थे वो
बेटा देखो वो क्वेश्चन है ना, एक बार मैं आप व्हाट्सएप मेल कर दीजिए, मैं उसको रिप्लाई कर दूंगा, क्योंकि वो पूरे क्वेश्चन पढ़ के रिप्लाई करने में टाइम लगेगा, टाइम कंज्यूमिंग
अच्छा।
प्रोसेस है। ठीक है
ओ
ना, तो
ठीक
वो
ठीक है।
मुझे मेल आ जाएंगे तो मैं उसको रिप्लाई कर दूंगा, ठीक है।
और डाउट आई कैन आस्क फ्रॉम द चैप्टर। सर मिस्टेक ऑफ लॉ, लॉ जो होता है इंडियन लॉ फॉरेन लॉ, वो
हम्म।
उसमें क्या मतलब फर्क होता है? जैसे वो रिलीफ ग्राउंड में
तो
मिलता है ना,
आप
इग्नोर।
जब आप इंडिया में रहते हो तो यू आर
हाँ।
सपोज टू हैव द नॉलेज ऑफ इंडियन लॉ, वेदर यू एक्चुअली हैव और नॉट। आपको नॉलेज हो या नहीं हो, ये माना जाएगा कि आपको नॉलेज होनी चाहिए। सपोज आप रेड लाइट पे क्रॉस कर देते हो, ठीक है, क्रॉसिंग को आप कहते हो मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि रेड लाइट पर क्रॉस नहीं करना होता है, तो इससे कोई मतलब नहीं, पेनल्टी आपके ऊपर लग जाएगी, ठीक है। अब फॉरेन लॉ की जानकारी नहीं है, ये आप एक्सक्यूज मान सकते हैं कि भाई आपने इंडियन लॉ की जानकारी होगी, फॉरेन लॉ की जानकारी आपको नहीं होगी, तो उस केस में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉइड किया जाएगा, वैलिड नहीं रहेगा। क्लियर।
यस सर। और लास्ट टॉपिक में एग्जाम्पल 31 एंड 35।
एग्जाम्पल 31 एंड 35 इन यूनिट नंबर 5,
यूनिट नंबर 3।
यूनिट नंबर 3,
थ्री
एग्जाम
वो।
स्टडी मॉड्यूल, स्टडी मॉड्यूल।
यस सर।
ओके, पेज नंबर
2.73 and 74।
जस्ट वेट। 2.73 and 74।
यस सर।
2.73, which example? 31. A father had arranged for marriage of a 17 years boy and took dowry from the girl's parent। भैया 17 साल के बच्चे की शादी तय कर दी, एक क्राइम तो ये हो गया। और फिर उसकी जो बिटिया थी उससे भी दहेज भी ले लिया, दूसरा क्राइम ये हो गया। तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या हो गया? अनलॉफुल। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज वॉइड। अनलॉफुल हो गया ना, दोनों केस अनलॉफुल हो गए ना बेटा।
दोनों अनलॉफुल हो गया, 35 में कैसे सर?
35 में कैसे हो गए अनलॉफुल? 35 भी देख लेते हैं क्या है। A promises to repay his debt by doing manual labor daily for a special period and agrees to pay the interest at an exorbitant rate। Exorbitant मतलब very high rate, बहुत ज्यादा रेट पे। उन्होंने कहा भैया अगर आप टाइम पे पेमेंट नहीं करोगे तो बहुत बड़ी ब्याज लेंगे आपसे, लाइक 100%, 100 रुपए पे 100 रुपए ब्याज। Here the promise to repay by manual labor is the consideration for loan and this consideration is illegal as it imposes what in a substance amount to slavery on the part of a, ना गुलामी हो गई ना, गुलामी। कि भैया आपने लोन लिया है तो आपको हमारे यहाँ लेबर करनी पड़ेगी, और अगर आपने नई टाइमली किया तो ये आपको डबल करना पड़ेगा। तो ये क्या होगा? एक तरह से गुलामी का गुलामी। तो ये किस तरह कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या है? अनलॉफुल है।
नाउ यूनिट 4 क्लियर। यूनिट 5।
यूनिट 5,
यस सर।
स्टडी मॉड्यूल।
यस सर।
एक सेकंड। यूनिट 5, विच पेज?
पेज नंबर 2.125।
125। यस।
2.125 इसमें आप स्क्रॉल करो सर, वो लास्ट पैरा पाएगा। ऑर्डिनरी के बाद एक कुछ पैराग्राफ है, सच कंपनसेशन
Such
के बाद।
compensation is not to be given for any remote or indirect loss। आई डिस्कस द एग्जाम्पल ना, जिसमें वो हस्बैंड जा रहे थे, हस्बैंड वाइफ जा रहे थे ट्रेन में, और वो ट्रेन खराब हो गई, उन्होंने कहा ट्रेन से चले जाकर हम घर चले जाओ। तो उसमें वाइफ बीमार हो गई क्योंकि सर्दी बहुत थी। तो वो
वो
क्या था ना। जी
हाँ, वो
बोलिए।
क्रैंक शाफ्ट से, वो तो समझ में आ गया था मुझे, लेकिन क्रैंक शाफ्ट का।
मतलब उसमें क्या इनडायरेक्ट लॉस हो गया ये। कहते हैं अगर आपको जो हमसे परेशानी हुई वो हम क्लेम कर सकते हैं, उस परेशानी में से कोई और परेशानी हुई तो वो आप उसके लिए कॉम्पनसेशन क्लेम नहीं कर सकते।
ये
क्लियर।
क्रैंक शाफ्ट पैराग्राफ के बारे में कह रहे हो क्या सर?
क्रैम शिप पैराग्राफ के बारे में नहीं कह रहा हूं मैं, ये आपका पैराग्राफ ने सच कॉम्पनसेशन इज नॉट टू बी
हाँ।
गिवन फॉर एनी रिमोट एंड इनडायरेक्ट लॉस और डैमेज सस्टेन बाय रीजन ऑफ द ब्रीच। कह रहा है अगर कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहा है, उससे कोई आपको इनडायरेक्ट लॉस हो रहा है तो उसके लिए कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं मिलेगा, ये कह रहा है। क्लियर।
ये तो समझ
उसका
में आ गया,
उसका एग्जाम्पल दिया हुआ है हेडली केस में।
तो क्रैंकशाफ्ट पैराग्राफ की वो नहीं समझ में आया मुझे।
वो पैराग्राफ सेम थिंग है। देखो क्या लिखा है, क्रैंक शाफ्ट ऑफ पीस फ्लोर मिल वाज ब्रोकन, ही गिव्स इट टू डी कॉमन कैरियर हु प्रॉमिस टू डिलीवर टू इट टू फाउंड्री इन 2 days। कहता है कोई पार्ट खराब हो गया मिल का, उसने किसी कैरियर कंपनी को दिया, भैया ले जाओ सही करा के लाओ, और टाइमली नहीं पहुंच पाया, ठीक है। द मिल स्टॉप वर्किंग, डी डिलेड द डिलीवरी ऑफ क्रैंक शाफ्ट, सो द मिल रिमेन्ड आइडल फॉर अनदर 5 days। 5 दिन मशीन बंद पड़ी रही, मिल बंद पड़ी रही। We received and repaired crankshaft 7 days later than he would have otherwise received। 7 दिन लेट हो गया तो कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा। Consequently, P sued D for damages not only for the delay in delivering the broken part but also for the loss of profit। कि भैया जो पार्ट टूटा उसका कॉम्पनसेशन चाहिए, साथ में जो हमारा प्रॉफिट का नुकसान हुआ क्योंकि हम काम नहीं कर पाए तो उसका कॉम्पनसेशन चाहिए। The court held P was entitled only to ordinary damages and D was not liable for loss of profit। का भैया आपका क्रैंक शाफ्ट टूटा है उसका कॉम्पनसेशन देंगे हम, लेकिन जो आपका काम नहीं चला, बंद रही फैक्ट्री, उसका हम कोई कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं देंगे। दिस इज द नेचर ऑफ इनडायरेक्ट लॉस। क्लियर?
क्लियर सर। और वो मिल जो रनिंग थी आपने बताया था उसमें कि ए ने बी को रिसीव करा, कंपनसेशन एंटाइटल करा, एवरेज
जी।
अमाउंट प्रॉफिट रन कर रहा है मिल। तो मेरा क्वेश्चन है वो किस चीज के लिए सस्टेन्ड है, लॉस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट में? तो वो लास्ट 3-4 लाइंस में कंफ्यूजन है।
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, वो तो पेनल्टी वाला नेचर था ना जो आप उसकी बात कर रहे हैं, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की बात कर
स्पेशल
रहे हैं।
नहीं, स्पेशल डैमेजेस का एग्जांपल स्टडी मॉड्यूल में
पेज नंबर बताइए।
पेज नंबर 2.126।
126 एग्जाम्पल नंबर है, A delivered a machine to B, a common carrier, to be conveyed to A's mill without delay। A also informed that B that this mill was stopped। उन्हें पहले से ही बता दिया था कि भैया हमारी मिल बंद हो जाएगी अगर ये आपने नहीं भेजा टाइम पर, इसलिए उसको प्रॉफिट मिल रहा है। पर गवर्नमेंट का जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था ना वो चला गया, उसके बारे में उसने इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया था ए ने बी को कि भैया आप अगर सप्लाई टाइम पे नहीं कर पाए तो हमारा जो गवर्नमेंट का ऑर्डर है वो भी चला जाएगा। जब इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया था एडवांस में तो इसलिए से उसका कॉम्पनसेशन नहीं मिलेगा। एग्रीड?
यस सर। रॉन्गफुल डिसऑनर बाय बैंकर, नीचे एक लाइन, रॉन्गफुल
किस
डिसऑनर
पेज पर बेटा?
इसी
अच्छा,
पेज पे
रॉन्गफुल डिसऑनर। मैंने बताया था विंडिक्टिव डैमेजेस विल बी गिवन ओनली इन 2 cases वेयर द ब्रीच ऑफ प्रॉमिस ऑफ मैरी एंड रॉन्गफुल डिसऑनर, कि बैंक ने गलती से आपका चेक डिसऑनर कर दिया। अब आपने मुझे फीस का चेक दिया और आपके अकाउंट में पैसा भी था, लेकिन बैंक ने डिसऑनर कर दिया तो आपकी रेपुटेशन खराब हो गई ना। लेकिन रेपुटेशन की वैल्यू क्या है वो डिसाइड नहीं कर सकता कोई, इसलिए उस केस में कोर्ट डिसाइड करता है व्हाट शुड बी द अमाउंट ऑफ कंपनसेशन, एंड दीज 2 टाइप्स ऑफ कंपनसेशन आर कॉल्ड विंडिक्टिव डैमेज। ओके।
उसमें जो नॉन ट्रेडर होता है, जो हैवी डैमेजेस, उसको वो नहीं कर सकता क्या बिजनेसमैन जिसका
बट ए
वो
नॉन
सफर
ट्रेडर
कर?
कैन नॉट गेट हैवी डैमेजेस। जो व्यापारी नहीं है उसको कोई लॉस थोड़ी ना हुआ, उसमें बहुत ज्यादा। देखिए, एक व्यापारी है उसका चेक बाउंस होता है तो उसकी इमेज मार्केट में खराब हो जाती है। एक जनरल आदमी है, अक्षित है, अक्षित मुझे कोई चेक देता है और चेक बाउंस हो जाता है तो इतनी इमेज खराब नहीं होती। लेकिन कोई अगर व्यापारी अंबानी मुझे कोई चेक दे और चेक बाउंस हो जाए तो मार्केट में चेक खराब, उसकी इमेज खराब हो गई। तो इसलिए वो कहता है अगर नॉन ट्रेडर है, नॉर्मल पर्सन है, तो उस केस में कॉम्पनसेशन अमाउंट कम रहेगा। राइट?
नेक्स्ट प्री फिक्स्ड डैमेजेस में थर्ड पॉइंट में डाउट है।
थर्ड पॉइंट मेरी
प्री
नोट्स
फिक्स
में
नहीं नहीं नहीं
प्रीफिक्स।
सर, स्टडी मटेरियल में है ना। वो स्टार्टिंग का तो समझ में आ गया, फर्स्ट लाइन, उसके बीच में इट में भी अमाउंट से
इट मे
लेके
बी अमाउंट टू आइदर लिक्विड डैमेजेस और ए पेनल्टी। व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड यू, if the prefix damages, that is the estimation of loss in advance, is reasonable, it is called liquidated damages। if the amount is unreasonably high, कि भैया अगर 100 रुपए का लॉस होगा तो हम आपसे 1 लाख रुपए कॉम्पनसेशन लेंगे, तो दिस इज द नेचर ऑफ पेनल्टी, एंड दिस फॉर दिस पेनल्टी कोर्ट कैन ग्रांट द रिलीफ। कोर्ट रिलीफ दे सकता है पेनल्टी के नेचर के लिए। ठीक है।
अगर मान लो जैसे 1 लाख है और एक्चुअल लॉस उनको 70 हुआ है, तो कितना डैमेजेस में रहेगा?
70,
70?
70 मिलेगा।
70 मिलेगा तो उसमें जो एक्चुअल लॉस है अमाउंट स्टिपुलेटेड नहीं का क्या मतलब होता है? अमाउंट स्टिपुलेट नहीं हुई।
देखिए पहले समझ लीजिए, क्लियर समझिए। कि एक चीज डिसाइड कर ली कि साहब ये आपको काम करना है और आपने काम नहीं करा तो आपको 1 लाख कॉम्पनसेशन देना पड़ेगा, राइट। अब कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा कि एक्चुअल लॉस कितना हुआ। अगर इस केस में काम पूरा नहीं हुआ और एक्चुअल लॉस 70,000 का हुआ है तो मैक्सिमम लिमिट 1 लाख की, तो 70,000 ही मिलेगा। और अगर मान लीजिए लॉस 1.5 लाख का हुआ और मैक्सिमम लिमिट 1 लाख रुपए की है तो 1 लाख ही मिलेगा। ठीक है।
तो अगर मतलब चैरिटी पे 10,000 ने मतलब एक्स ने
अब चैरिटी वाला केस क्या था कि चैरिटी पे मान लो मैंने किसी पंडित जी को कहा, पंडित जी आप मंदिर का जीर्णोद्धार कराइए, इसको रिपेयर कराइए, मैं 10,000 का आपको एक चंदा दूंगा, चैरिटी दान दूंगा। पंडित जी ने काम शुरू कर दिया, लेकिन खर्चा कितना हुआ, 7,500। तो पंडित जी और मैं मना करता हूँ पेमेंट करने के लिए, तो पंडित जी 7,500 रुपए क्लेम कर सकते हैं। अगर
इंडियन लॉ
खर्चा
में
15,000 का हो जाता है तो पंडित जी मुझसे केवल 10,000 क्लेम कर सकते थे।
इंडियन लॉ में वहाँ पे वो उस नेक्स्ट 2.128 में इंडियन लॉ में मुझे कंफ्यूजन था कि पार्टीज है फिक्स्ड से कंफ्यूजन था 2.128 में।
इंडियन लॉ में पार्टी कहाँ है, किस लाइन में बेटा, विच लाइन?
सेक्शन 74 ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट लेज डाउन में
If
पार्टीज
the
है फिक्स्ड।
party have fixed what the damages will be, the court will never allow more। कहता है अगर पार्टी, इंडियन लॉ में क्या कहता है कि पार्टी डिसाइड करेगी मैक्सिमम कितना लॉस होगा, तो कोर्ट उससे ज्यादा अलाउ नहीं करेगी। जितना मैक्सिमम डिसाइड पार्टीज करेगी मैक्सिमम उतना होगा, एक्चुअल लॉस और दैट अमाउंट विच एवर लेस, जो भी दोनों में से कम होगा।
तो उसमें अगर ए ने प्रैक्टिस करा वो सर्जन कोलकाता में बी 50,000, तो सर्जन बी एंटाइटल कंपनसेशन नॉट एक्सीड 50,000, तो बी कंपनसेशन के लिए मतलब नहीं होगा क्या 50,000 में?
50,000 ही मिलेगा अगर डिसाइड 1 लाख रुपए का हुआ है मैक्सिमम लिमिट, और एक्चुअल लॉस 1 लाख से ज्यादा होता है तो 1 लाख मिलेगा। सिंपल में नोट कर लो ये बात। और 1 लाख से कम होता है तो जितना एक्चुअल लॉस हुआ है उतना कॉम्पनसेशन मिलेगा। एग्रीड।
यस सर। और एग्जांपल 10।
एग्जाम्पल 10।
Akshit, I think this will be your last query. Okay?
ओके मैम, ओके मैम।
10,000 रुपए का लोन रिपेमेंट करना था 5 इंस्टॉलमेंट में, और उसमें तय हुआ कि अगर आपने एक भी फॉल्ट किया तो सारा पेमेंट दोबारा करना पड़ेगा। ये कोर्ट कहता है ये नॉर्मल तरीका, ये नॉर्मल प्रोविजन है, इसे हम लिक्विडेट डैमेजेस ही मानेंगे। ओके।
लेकिन क्यों इसमें मतलब वैसे मुझे कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, ये
अरे
होलसेल बिकम।
आपने 10,000 रुपए का लोन लिया और 2,000 रुपए महीने की इंस्टॉलमेंट में पे करना है, और आपने तय कर लिया कि भैया अगर मैं फॉल्ट करूंगा तो मैं आपको 10,000 दोबारा पूरे दूंगा मैं। तो ये लॉ कहता है ये सफिशिएंट, ये ऑर्डिनरी है। अगर 10,000 से ज्यादा मांगा जाता तो वो पेनल्टी नेचर होता।
तो क्या सेम पॉइंट है क्या जो ये इसमें
सर
एग्जांपल
अंतर
10
है
में
सर,
दिए?
9 में 20,000 है और
नहीं
10
वो
में
नहीं पूछ रहा सर, वो नहीं पूछ रहा इस पॉइंट में। इस पॉइंट में और जो थर्ड पॉइंट में दे रखा है लिक्विड डैमेजेस में, वो सेम है क्या थर्ड और फिफ्थ पॉइंट? लिक्विडेटेड
थर्ड।
डैमेजेस और पेनल्टी में थर्ड और फिफ्थ पॉइंट जो 2.128 पेज में।
बिल्कुल सही है सर, सेम है। पेनल्टी
टू
फाइनल नहीं
पॉइंट
होती, कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा, कोर्ट कम कर सकता है उन्हें। अगर कोर्ट को लगता है एनीथिंग वाज अनरीजनेबल इट कैन ग्रांट द रिलीफ अगेंस्ट दैट।
तो डिफरेंस क्या है थर्ड और फिफ्थ पॉइंट में लिक्विडेटेड डैमेजेस और पेनल्टी के डिफरेंस डिस्टिंक्शन में?
डिफरेंस क्या है
थर्ड और फिफ्थ पॉइंट
सर?
समझा दो सर।
देखिए देखिए प्लीज सुनिए। एक्सप्रेशन यूज बाय द पार्टीज इज नॉट फाइनल। The court must find out whether the sum fixed in the contract is in truth penalty or damages. If the sum fixed are exorbitant, the court will regard penalty and relief will be granted. English law says a distinction between liquid damage and penalty, but no such distinction is allowed in India. देखिए दोनों पॉइंट अलग है। पहले पॉइंट में कह रहा है कि कोर्ट कितना अलाउ करेगी, और सेकंड पॉइंट फिफ्थ पॉइंट में कह रहा है कि इंग्लिश लॉ क्या कहता है कि पेनल्टी रिकॉग्नाइज करता है और डैमेजेस भी। इंडिया में ऐसा कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है, कोर्ट डिसाइड करेगा कि क्या करना है। तो जो थर्ड फिफ्थ पॉइंट है वो बता रहा है डिफरेंस बिटवीन इंग्लिश लॉ एंड इंडियन लॉ। थर्ड पॉइंट बता रहा है नेचर ऑफ पेमेंट, राइट।
ओके सर, समझ में आ गया, थैंक यू सर।
थैंक यू
आई
मैम। शुड,
कंप्लीटेड होमवर्क।
ओके मैम, शुड वी क्लोज द
Yes,
सेशन?
yes. Dear students, today we have completed Unit 5 and on Sunday we will start Unit 6, that is contingent and quasi-contracts. And we have uploaded the notes and assignment for the same. So please come prepared for the Unit 6 and read the study material for Unit 5 also. And if you are having any queries till Unit 5, you can raise the same in the Sunday class. And till next week, we will complete our this Indian Contract Act. And from next Monday, we will start our Sales of Goods Act 1930. So please uh, attend the live virtual classes regularly. And if you missed any class, please see the recorded session on the same day and read the same from the study material. And maintain a focus, give a focus, emphasize on practice portion also. The question which we were discussed literally 5 minutes before, which Akshit was discussing, like penalty and liquidated damages, the same question has come in May 2026 examination for 6 to 7. So whatever the queries are being asked during the live virtual class, whatever the questions are being discussed, they are very important. The same similar type of questions can come in your examinations. So please focus and uh, these refer these notes properly. Whatever the live virtual class faculties are showing to you, the notes, assignments, there are so many questions covered in these assignments notes. And whatever queries we are discussing, just maintain focus. So any type of question, similar type of questions can come, and you can remember that yes, we have done the same question in our live virtual class, so you can answer the same accordingly. So please ready with the study material, and unit number 6, you can also read from the study material in advance, and we will take the class on Sunday. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear students. Technical team? Yes, thank you.
Recording stopped.